Welcome, Hoarders. They're going to be playing some more Grand Theft Auto 5, and this testing Tuesday we're going to be testing the Declasse Tulip. I didn't get a video on the Impaler yet, so I think I'm going to do that probably next week, and then the older Chevy Coupe, which was added Christmas Day. I don't remember the name of that one, but I will be getting to those ones. I already actually have them, and they're both already maxed out. But getting back on track with the Tulip, I do like the car. There's a couple things that aren't as accurate as I would like them to be, that being the front and rear bumper. The front bumper looks really off because those headlights are really, really big. It just does not look enough like the actual car. What else? It has 4 doors, which I really don't like. That's kind of annoying, but it's nice to have a vehicle that has 4 doors. It does, like the rest of the muscle cars, it does do a wheelie. I would expect that the wheelies would probably be better if I put the race suspension on, because usually that helps with doing wheelies, because the bumper's a little closer to the ground so you can hold the wheelies longer. But I don't plan on using this as a drag car. I might buy a second one to have as a drag car, but this one I just really don't care for putting a drag setup on it. Also, I did have the paint red originally, red with black stripes, but it didn't look right to me. Also, I did all just nautical blue, like the entire car was just blue. There was no stripes on it. The secondary color on this car, for those of you who don't own it, the secondary color is chrome, which controls the bumpers and the grille and the trim around the windows. So I made that chrome to make it look a little bit better. There's not a whole lot of modifications you can do to it. There's some, but not as many as the Impaler. The Impaler really made it where there was a lot of customizations for that car. I did put the low cowl hood with the hood pins because I thought that made the car look just a little bit better. I don't really care for the back bumper or any of the placements really that they allowed the exhaust to come out. So I just kept the exhaust stock where it comes out right under the rear doors. There's not really much more that I can think about this to talk about. So let's take it over to the test track and see what time we can get. Okay, I don't know, I'm not sure how good this will do. I'm not expecting it to do great. It's probably gonna, spin the tires quite a bit at the beginning, but you really can't help that, because the way that I try to do these, well, not the way I try, the way that I do all of these is I'll floor it, and try not to get the boost at the beginning, because I want the least amount of different things to affect our end results. Like, I don't want, what's the scientific term, less variables in the actual testing. So I just floor it, that way you can't mess up. Gotta slow down quite a bit for that. Around turn, we can keep it hammered through most of this, actually. Like I said, I'm probably going to do the Impaler next week, and then the Clique, I think is how you pronounce it, the week after that. And I'd like to also test the Duke of Death, purely because I want to sell the car, because I'd rather have another vehicle in its place. And I'd like to also test the weaponized Tampa, because I really don't use those two cars, and they're just taking up space as of right now. And I could also use the extra money, so I'm going to get rid of those. Oh, it did not really want to make that turn. I don't think that was off enough that it's going to affect anything, so I think I'm going to keep it how it is. I also think I'm going to start doing a lot less testing videos on vehicles that you can't actually use in races, because the whole purpose of the test cars is for people that use them in races so they know how quick they are. It is kind of nice, though, to know how fast the other ones go, but at a certain point it gets kind of ridiculous, like the half track. Try to stay on the inside here, and vehicles like that, ones that just can't do anything that people wouldn't use in races. Okay, got 2 minutes 22.677 seconds. From what I can remember, that's close to the last vehicle we tested, which I actually don't remember. I think it was the Buffalo S. Yeah, I think it was somewhere near that time. I think the Buffalo S got a like 220 or 223 or something like that. But let's head on over to the leaderboard and see where we placed. On the test track, the Declasse Tulip finished in 64th place at 2 minutes 22.677 seconds. I was pleasantly actually surprised that it beat the Gauntlet, Dominator, and Buffalo S, because usually the older muscle cars don't have much grip or handling to do very good on this track. And I was just surprised. I didn't think going into this that the Tulip would beat those other cars, which it did, and it must have very good handling, because I wasn't even thinking about the handling as I was going around the test track, which is usually a telltale sign that it has good handling if you're not thinking about it. But I think when we go over to the drag track, that's where we're going to see the downside of this, because I know the car doesn't have great acceleration, which on this track, there's very few places that you really need the acceleration to go quick. But now let's go over to the drag track and see what time we can get over there. Okay, on to our final test, which is the drag track. I really like the car, but I think I'm going to have to keep messing around until I can find a color scheme that I really like. I still think this is the best looking one, but it looks too much like the Dodge Challenger from Driver. That's all I think about when I see this car. It actually looks like they took the front end of the older... why can't I think of the name of the car now? It's not the El Camino. Even though it does look like the El Camino, the Monte Carlo. Okay, we got a 26.931. That, I think, is near the slower side. But let's head on over to the leaderboard and see where we placed. On the drag track, the Declasse Tulip finished in 67th place at 26.931 seconds. It did end up being worse in acceleration, like I assumed it was going to be. I knew that the car didn't have great acceleration just from like the very beginning test. I had this vehicle like a couple days before, or not even a couple days. It only came out like the day before. But I bought it and I started testing it, and I like the car. The handling's good. The top speed's good. The only problem is getting to the top speed. You can feel that it doesn't have great acceleration, which is the majority of why the drag track time is slower in general compared to the test track time, because the handling made up for that. But that is going to be the end of this video. Post in the comments down below of a vehicle you'd like to see me test in the next Testing Tuesday. Make sure it's a real car name, like the in-game name of the car, not like Dodge Charger, like the real life ones, because obviously not every vehicle is exactly like the real life version, and some look like multiple vehicles. For instance, the Gauntlet looks like a Camaro, like a 2012 Camaro and a 2012 Challenger mixed together. So you can't really get exactly what vehicle, if that makes sense. But I'm going to be ending the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. And if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to watch one of my previous, next, and related videos, and don't forget to check out my other social medias in the description down below.